Well, I'm excited about being back in session and lots of activity around the Capitol right now. I've been very clear since I came into office 2 years ago that we had some key areas that we wanted to focus on. In the first legislative session, we heavily leaned in to K through 12 education. Now I want us to kind of take the next step. We built that solid foundation, and now I really want to lean into higher education, creating a lot more opportunity and pathways for people to be successful right here in Arkansas. Different credentialing, more access to funding, affordability. That's what we're looking at and will be one of the big priorities in this session through Arkansas Access. Obviously, public safety has been a critical part of the first 2 years I've had in office. We passed the PROTECT Act. We want to continue to do things that we think help keep our people safe, particularly our young people. I think there's a lot of things under that public safety umbrella that we're leaning into. And so those will be big priorities. One of the other pieces is making a life in Arkansas more affordable, and so cost of living, and continuing to look at ways that we provide relief for families. And I think one of the best ways we're going to do that this session is working to eliminate the grocery tax. One of the things that we did in Arkansas Learns in opening up the education freedom accounts and empowering parents to have control over where and how their kids are best educated is we made sure that the institutions that were participating in that program are willing to do a approved standardized test through the state. And so we're putting some of those accountability measures already in place. That was part of the initial piece of legislation, and I feel very confident that that gives us what we need in order to continue moving forward with the program. I feel confident that not only have we put money aside, but that is one of the parts of legislation, and part of my budget was making sure that we had enough funding so that every family in the state of Arkansas has access to an education freedom account if they choose to participate. For many students, continuing to go to their local public school may be their best option and the best place for their child to get educated, but that's a decision that parents should have the ability to make. I'm really excited that next year those education freedom accounts will be open to every single student in the state of Arkansas. Look, I want to look at the final piece of legislation as we do with every bill that gets introduced. I want to see where the language lands. But in concept, we should never support discriminating against anyone. And so if we have legislation that supports that in concept, I would be supportive. Again, I would want to see the actual text of the legislation. I haven't seen what that looks like, but in concept, I can't imagine that that would be anything supporting slavery would never be something I can imagine Arkansas or Arkansans supporting. Again, I'd want to look at the specific text of any piece of legislation, but what I am supportive of, and one of the things that I've introduced and will be pushing this session, is focusing on a lot more rehabilitation and evidence-based workforce training programs within our prison system. It's something I don't think we have done nearly as good of a job as possible, and I want to make sure that while people are in prison, they have access to, when they finish their time and they've served that time, that they're able to leave and go out and be productive members of society. And so anything that allows us to teach some of those critical workforce skills and do some workforce training, evidence-based programming, that's something I'm supportive of. We feel confident that we have a process, and we'll do that through this legislative session. Right now, where we have seen over the course of the last 4 years, so many Arkansas families are hurting and struggling to put food on their table. And so we want to look for ways to provide some of that instant relief. Certainly my biggest goal when it comes to taxes in Arkansas, I've made very clear, is I want to phase out and remove the state income tax. I think it is one of the best things that we can do to continue building the strongest economy, creating growth, and bringing in, retaining, and recruiting new business, is by eliminating that. We're going to keep working on that. In the meantime, we want to provide immediate relief for Arkansas families, and I think we can do that by taking away that tax on the most basic needs and necessities that people have. I don't have any concern at this point. We're working closely with the Trump administration. Right now, our country has a $36 trillion debt. Let that sink in for just a second. $36 trillion debt. we should be taking a look at all of the programs and making sure that we are actually spending taxpayer money responsibly. I think the president is spot on to take a look at programs across the board and make sure that they're effective. We did this just over the course of the last year here in the state of Arkansas through the Arkansas Forward Initiative, looking for ways that we can be more efficient, more effective, and still provide needed, valuable services to Arkansans. And we've determined that we'll be able to save at least $300 million, if not more, by instituting some of those efficiencies and getting rid of duplicative programs. So I think it's smart what they're doing, and we're going to work with them to make sure that no services that directly impact Arkansans happen. So far, it's been a federal-led program, but we have to have law and order in our country. We have to have a secure border. Over the course of the last 2 years, we sent Arkansas National Guard to help on the Texas border, and we will continue to engage in the process and make sure that we are aiding and doing our part in bringing about, I think, safer communities here in the state. I think a lot of that is scare tactics. Even the president's border czar, Tom Homan, came out and said that that was not what they were doing, that was not where their focus was. However, if there's a violent, dangerous criminal in a school, they are going to go get that person. And I don't think that there's any parent out there who has a kid in school that wants to see a violent criminal in a school. However, that's not been their target, that's not been their focus, and that's certainly not where they're spending their time. You know, I think one of the biggest things that we hear on a regular basis is that people want to make sure they have opportunity here. And so that's why so many of the things that we're doing are focused on making sure anybody that lives in Arkansas not only can be successful here, but will be successful here. Whether that's a focus on education, public safety, lowering the cost of living, these are all things that allow people to live their best life right here in Arkansas, and that's going to continue to be our focus. You know, one of the things that I'm actually really proud of that gets very little attention that we started as a pilot program so that we can lead from a state government perspective is a Bring Your Kid to Work program. We started as a pilot at DHS where new moms can bring their infants up to 6 months old into the workplace as long as they have permission with the supervisor. And this year we actually expanded that program into the governor's office. We have several new parents that are bringing their infants to work. I think we can lead by example. This is one of the things I think that we can see happen a lot more across state government, but also in the private sector. We also did this in education by providing state-funded maternity leave up to 12 weeks. We're one of only 4 states in the country that has a program like that. When 70% of the teacher workforce is female, that means a big percentage of those people are likely or possible to become parents. And so we want to make sure that we are extending that maternity leave, and that's something I'm really proud of that we did through Arkansas Learns. We're going to continue to look for opportunities like that to help with the cost of childcare. I'm a mom. I know how challenging and difficult it can be. And so as many ways as we can help in that effort and certainly be leaders on it from a state government perspective, we're going to do it.